5 seasons. It's really amazing the age gap between some of these players, but it's just such a terrific opportunity. There's a lot of space in that midfield here.
Kruger with a good show for the ball there. Back to Swan. We'll probably swing that out left to Zamora there.
Fabiola working with it, looking to get to the left foot, just a bit too high with a left-footed shot. But a really nice look from Swan, who set up the first goal for Maya Hammock. And at 1-0, it just feels like United PDX is certainly the team more likely to add a second tally at this point.
Yeah, the coaches will be happy to see Kruger drop into the middle there and receive the ball between the lines, find Swan very, very comfortably, and then poke it outside to Zamora, and tons of space out there for her to try to get her second goal against the Tacoma team. She scored one in the 6-2 game as well. The game on the 2nd of June, I should say. This final score was 6-1.
Will be out for another throw. Zamora trying to find her teammate Swan there.
Well defended by Reardon, so.
This is Lyons, who it's a ton of fun to watch. She was, as a freshman, the conference co-player of the year, scored double-digit goals and had double-digit assists. So a real talent who will be playing at the D1 level in 2 years, but just such an impressive feat to be playing and starting at this level, as this one's going to go just out of bounds.
Yeah, and it was a good little piece of possession there by Bianco in the 6th position. She did a great job of just getting out wide to Hamak here, who's on the ball again.
Hamak has the overlapping run, but it's going to be offsides. Is just unable to keep with the ball was Taylor Kruger. 1-0 United PDX early on, just past the 15-minute mark here at Mike Walsh Stadium. United PDX looking for their 5th win in 6 games. Tacoma Galaxy, who sits in 4th out of 5 teams here in the Northwest Division of the USLW, is looking for just their 2nd win, 1-4-1. They've played 4 games now, including today's contest against the top 2 teams already in the division. They've got 1 more against Olympia, and then they'll get a game apiece against the teams currently ranked 3rd and 5th. That's Lane and Capital FC Athletica.
Yeah, and as you mentioned earlier, United PDX is hopefully not overlooking this one with Lane FC heading up to FC Olympia on the 20th.
Yeah, that is the big game. FC Olympia is currently ranked 8th in the power rankings of the USLW, and United PDX is 13th. Only 1 team will get to advance because it is one of the smaller divisions.
Yeah, that's tough, and that makes these margins for error so slim, and that tie against Lane United may come back to haunt United PDX here a little bit.
Yeah, it definitely puts the onus on United PDX. FC Olympia, 2 ties, a win and a loss in those 2 matchups. They're likely moving on.
Mm-hmm.
But for now, United PDX can only focus on their current opponent. So there's the foul in the attacking half, and Chamberlain will float it in the opposite way. Towering header there from Weber.
Hold your runs.
Long ball ahead for Sawan, and she's offsides. It's a good counter there with 3 blue players getting forward, but just couldn't stay on sides off the nice feed from what looked like Taylor Kruger.
Yeah, Kruger's been busy so far in this first half. She's done well. And as you mentioned, great header by Weber there in the midfield to start that counter.
And Weber, a really good offensive player. 3 years at Oklahoma thus far, 12 goals, 11 assists, 35 points, a career high, 15 points this past season with 5 goals and 5 assists. But it also speaks to, at any level, you need your players to be well-rounded if you're going to be successful. And I don't know a ton about SEC women's soccer, but I guarantee that it's not a league where you can have forwards just focus on offense. Kruger with it, able to push off the defender. Kruger has 2 options to her left and more coming. Kruger still with it, trying to cut back, and a great step by the defender. That looked like Bella Hanna, the Linfield product, Division III out of McMinnville. The really important intervention. Ooh, Sawan wasn't quite ready for it. Didn't completely get behind the ball as it fell to her. Still loose in the midfield, not out of danger yet, and that's well hit, but right at the keeper.
Bianco just about 20, 25 out. First bounce, good turn and hit.
Bianco, the Colorado College product. one of the few Division III schools within the state of Colorado. In fact, I believe it's the only Division III.
They have a strong number of Division II programs in Colorado.
So this one will just be bounced into the 18-yard box. Abby Presnell has not been challenged much in the first 2 meetings against Tacoma FC. Got a shutout the first time and played first 56 minutes in game number 2. Gave up a single goal before being replaced by Finley Crabtree for the final 34. Finley is the backup goalie for this one. And I'm sure that you'd like to, if you're United PDX's coaches, be able to get both of your goalies time in this one. Certainly if the offense can make this a 2-3 goal lead, you'd feel more comfortable taking Abby, who's played so well, out.
Really nice first touch by Bachman there, right, to get into space.
This is where we've seen Tacoma struggle, just getting out of their own defensive half. Been able to get the ball in the midfield, but they haven't been able to really do much with it. And this one is pushed forward for Lions. Lions able to hold off the defender, but her pass is just behind Kalea Hualehe.
That was a nice turn by Sanchez in the middle again. She's pressed early on in this game for Tacoma.
Well, the nice thing is Sanchez may not be completely game fit as she graduated back in 2023, but had 5 years of collegiate soccer experience. I don't think she's going to be intimidated by any of the opponents, no matter where they went to school. And this is Sanchez with it here. Has a player ahead of her. That's Beavers. Beavers, though, unable to find it as it went in between her feet and eventually cleared away by Penny Noland and out for a throw.
Yeah, again, Sanchez taking it to her right and just slot pass back to the left, and Beavers just couldn't get the first touch underneath her.
That would have been a really dangerous spot if she had been, because she was just inside the 18. Sanchez can't quite handle that, and the PDX will look to go the other way. Heavy touch there by Kruger, and it will allow Ray Gerking to knock it the other way. We've got an offsides coming on Amira Lyons, but this is better from Tacoma Galaxy.
Yeah, nice clearance by Gerkins there just to step in.
21:30 into half number 1 as we near the midway point. Make sure to stick around for our halftime United PDX studio show. We've got a great crew just to our left taking in the game. They'll break everything now. United PDX looks to build out of the back. They find Weber there, who, despite being a big-time goal scorer, done a nice job of coming back and helping build the possession. She tries the touch pass there for Kruger. Couldn't quite find her, but it's picked up by Sawan, and Sawan thought about the shot from distance. Immediately deflected up. Bouncing around. That looks like a handball. They'll say play on.
Yep, and we're playing that.
Sawan, it looked like she won the header, but it's Sanchez who comes away with it. Sarah Sanchez, I believe she was listed at 5'2", but she's playing very big and very well. 5'2" out of Blackfoot, Idaho. And I wonder how much soccer she's getting to play. She was listed as a dental hygiene major in college. Figure you're probably spending a lot of time either in a classroom or in a dental practice if you're going into that field.
Yeah, she looks sharp. She's she's finding some time to get touches on the ball, that's for sure.
I think she's wearing the captain's armband. Looks like there's something on that left arm.
I think they had Reardon out for the toss, but
this is Sawan who will send it just wide of the goal. Ambitious look for Nedya.
Way to hold off the defender in a good turn. Maybe take another touch into space, see what develops. But you want your forwards to take some shots, so can't be too upset when they don't all go in.
Chamberlain's boot just shy of midfield. First touch is won by the Galaxy, but not for long. The ball's now bouncing around in the midfield and eventually won there by Bianco. Bianco playing it back, and this is where United PDX really seems comfortable. I say that as Sanchez immediately jumps in front, but they've been the team better building from that back line.
Yeah, Bianco just reminding Bachman to make sure she's putting some information on that ball, either a name on it or man on or something of that sort, as it came in without a whole lot of information behind it. Good run from Bueller out of the midfield there.
Working with it here is Bueller. Bueller looking for a cross to the near post and bobbled, but an easy pickup for Chamberlain with no one around. Maybe looking for options here. She's got a pretty good boot there, but unfortunately, first ball won by United PDX and almost nice feed for teammate. This will be a throw-in for United PDX, looking for their 5th win in 6 games this season. Only have, I believe it's 4 games left, 2 of them against the number 1 team in the league, FC Olympia, who has a 26-1 goal differential.
Yeah, they have had no difficulty scoring goals and scoring in bunches.
Weber's cross is knocked down. Kruger will keep it alive. Could have gone out for a corner. Right back for Weber. 1v1 with the former Columbia Basin College player. And now a left-footed cross into the mixer. Ball still bouncing around. Looking for Sawan there. That was Zamora. And eventually it's cleared out, but only as far as Bueller.
Ooh.
Ball through for Lyons, who didn't expect it, but she should be onside here. 3 blue defenders around her. Lyons holds it up right at the edge of the 18, still with it, looking for a cross into a good spot and an important intervention. Good job coming back from Hamak there, the New Mexico State player who was able to clear that one out of danger.
Yeah, good job by, I think, Lyons on that wing to get around her defender there and get a ball across into a dangerous area with Beavers on rushing. And as you said, Hamak did a great job of doing her job, covering it and clearing away.
Yeah, we talk about Olympia outscoring their opponents 26-1. Well, United PDX isn't too shabby either. They've got a plus 12 goal differential at 16-4. And the big thing is FC Olympia hasn't had to play United PDX, and United PDX hasn't had to play FC Olympia. So that's where it's going to really matter.
Mm-hmm.
Who cares what your goal differential is if you can come through? If one of those teams can take 4 out of 6 points in those 2 games, it will likely mean that they will end up champions of the league if you can get it done in the other games. Here's Sawan inside the 18 and a great diving effort to deflect it. Not out of danger yet. Right-footed shot from Kruger is knocked down.
I think that was Gherkin, if I'm saying that correctly, coming across there for the block. Excellent job.
Kruger at the edge of the 18 has it knocked down, picks it right back up. Kruger, right-footed toe poke, looking for a teammate at the back post, and eventually cleared away. PDX is asking the questions right now, and Sawan is getting herself in some really good spots.
Yeah, Tacoma's taking a little bit of heavy fire at the moment, but they've bent but not broken more than the one time. So
yeah, lone goal came in the 9th minute, just inside the 9th minute. It was Hamak from Sawan after Sawan did most of the hard work, and the ball fell just at the goal line. This is floated in, but again, headed away by Gherkin.
Zamora spotted Weber there and just couldn't get. Needed to clear one more defender to get all the way to Weber's head.
Weber will dish it back into the middle of the defense for Bachman. Bachman out of Division II Point Loma Nazarene University. Bachman calling out instructions, and we'll send it the other way.
Over to Nolan and into Bueller. Ooh. Bueller takes one across the ankles. Free kick for United PDX.
Haven't had many whistles in this first half, but it also has been pretty clean.
Yeah.
As we are nearing the 30-minute mark of half number 1. Weber, who's done most of the damage this year, scored 4 of the 8 goals against Tacoma. She hasn't looked for her shot there. Left on brilliantly by Sawan, but it's gobbled up by Chamberlain. That was a really nice look. Weber looked like she was going for Sawan in the middle of the box, and instead it was Bueller, the Wesleyan Cardinal, who had a great look at goal from maybe 14 yards out.
Yeah, got it on target, back the way it was supposed to. Hit it well, hit it low, just didn't get it far enough away from the goalkeeper. Really nice lead by Swan, as you mentioned. That was fabulous.
Weber sliding it through, a little bit heavy there off the foot of Bianco. Maybe wasn't expecting it. This is really good from United PDX, who, again, just the 1 goal in their last game. It took them until the 50th minute. They look the team that is much more likely not to score just the next goal, but maybe the next couple, as here's Sawan floating it brilliantly for Hamak. Hamak 1v1 with the defender, still with it. At the top of the 18, left-footed shot goes off the back there of Bellahana, and it will fall for Chamberlain.
Yeah, Coach McClellan has talked all season about really being doing the little things correctly, making sure your touches are clean, making sure you're marked up, making sure your passes are sharp, and United PDX has inserted a lot more influence on this game in the last 10 to 15 minutes.
All bouncing around in the midfield, controlled there by Torrey Peters. Now it's Beavers, who was listed as the center forward, but he's having to play a little bit of hold up here and goes all the way back to her center back, Bellahana. Torrey Peters can't keep control, and it's out for another throw as we have hit the 30th minute. 15 minutes before halftime. You got to figure that United PDX feels like they need to get at least one more goal before halftime to be content. As much as they've dominated possession and the shots, Tacoma Galaxy is just one potential counterattack away from maybe getting back into this game.
Yeah, and we haven't said her name lately, so Sanchez has definitely got that speed and potential to create that, as does Lions up top. So United PDX I agree with you, will want to get at least one more in, and if not, keep the pressure on and build in the second half and continue to wear down this Tacoma team who has a thin bench with only 3 players over there.
I think the other part of it is you're going to have to be sharp against FC Olympia, a team that's given up 1 goal thus far through their first 5 games. You expect the chances are probably going to be a little harder to come by. Here's a low left-footed cross. Weber didn't get it right there as her shot ends up off the foot of the defender as she was trying to bring that back towards the back post. But another good look on the cross on the far side by Zamora.
Yeah, I think if you can get Zamora some space over there, that's going to Zamora on the left and Hamak on the right. Those two have created some damage and created some good opportunities for United PDX.
Satorensky joined by Zach Chone on Oregon Sports Beat. Make sure to stick with us at halftime for our United PDX studio show. United PDX looking for another big win here. They try to come away with the Northwest Division Championship, one of just 16 spots in the USLW tournament availables. This is a good ball in for Sawan, headed away by the center back right in front of her. Good job keeping it alive there. That was Bianco once again, but another shot that it's immediately met by a body part of a player in white. That one went right into the head of one of the defenders.
I mean, really good dedication from Tacoma on the defensive side. They're throwing their bodies on the line and keeping United PDX at bay.
Chamberlain will go out to get it. Looking a little bit more at this Tacoma Galaxy team. This is a newer club. They used to be the Sounders Women, then they were the Sound FC. Had a lot of success back in the day. They had players like Hope Solo, Alex Morgan, Megan Rapino, and Sydney LaRue playing for them. But they are looking to snap a 3-game winless streak, 0-3-1, have not won since May the 24th, a 4-1 win over Capital FC. And they're a team that struggled both to score and to not give up goals. They've been outscored 17-6 through 6 games.
Just so many good players in that greater Seattle metropolitan area, and I'm going to include Tacoma in that, much to the chagrin of the Tacoma residents, but so many good players in that region that you don't think this team will be down for long. Just kind of get the roots in the ground and establish themselves a little bit, and you'll have the good players arriving. As you see with some of the young talent out here, Lions is a very classy player. Has created all sorts of trouble as as you said, class of 2025 grad.
Beavers outside 4 Lions, met by 2 blue shirts, and that'll force her to bring it back. But that was a good link-up play between 2 of the forwards on this Tacoma team.
Well defended there by Bachman. She did a very good job of using a little bit of body and creating some space, and Lions wasn't able to maintain that ball.
Stepping forward is Gherking, and she'll float it across looking for Beavers, who's really been that target center forward for this Tacoma team. And it'll be picked up by Weber in the midfield looking to turn. Goes out wide, able to find Zamora. Zamora all the way to the sideline, pushing it forward for Zawan. Sawan cuts back, has an option, and she'll shoot it herself and just high over the bar. I think everyone expected her to leave it on the turf for Hamak, and that ended up being a really good look, just a little bit high.
Yeah, nice turn and good strike. She uses her body really well, just kind of puts the defender in her back pocket, rolls with the ball, and it's worked several times. She's obviously very, very skilled and very useful, useful little technique there.
Nedya out of Beaverton, Oregon. In 4 seasons at the University of Portland, 60 games, 48 starts, 25 goals, 59 total points, 2-time All-Region player. Here's Weber, who will be in the same conference as Nedya Sawan next year, and her shot is knocked down, and big save from Chamberlain, probably the best she's had to make thus far.
Yeah, and the pressure just keeps coming from United PDX here.
Hamak trying to cross it in top of the 6, ball's loose. Weber will head it down far side. Zamora, and she didn't quite get it as it went wide, but another good look. The shots are just
fast and the furious on goal scoring opportunities here for United PDX, and as we mentioned a few minutes ago, I think they will. Tacoma will consider this a pretty good win if they get through this half at 1-0.
You wonder if they can continue to hold with this level of defensive intensity and taking as many shots that have been blocked off body parts, but they've done a really nice job of not allowing the floodgates to open like they did the second time these two teams met when it was 4-0 at halftime, and in fact 4-0 in the 40th minute as we are 5 minutes from that point. So on a long run, and she can't quite keep it in.
And it'll be interesting to see. We've seen United PDX score goals in buckets, so it'll be interesting to see if they get a few. They did it last home outing against Capital FC Atletica, and they did it last time against Tacoma, scoring 3 or 4 goals in quick succession. So they have that capability, and they're definitely going to be looking to get one more before halftime at least.
Chamberlain's long clearance is headed up by Zamora. Bouncing around, and it's controlled there by Bianco. Bianco looking for Sawan.
Good step by Reardon, the right back on that one against Sawan, not letting her get to that ball and turn her.
Long ball floated forward looking for Sanchez, and a foot race with McDougall gets past her, and the right-footed shot is pawed down by Presnell. It was a good job by the defender, not giving too much room and forcing the shot from distance, but good save from Presnell to avoid a 1-1 tie.
Yeah, a nice touch off the forehead and full speed for Sanchez there. Just a little touch down and off the short hop, a little half volley. And Presnell's been strong all season and made a difficult chance look kind of pedestrian.
Yeah, only the second save, I believe, of the half for Presnell. The ball is loose in the midfield, and this is where Bianco's had a lot of success just settling things down, creating options as the ball forward for Kruger. Kruger is immediately met by Victoria Reardon. Floated into the box, just a bit heavy there off the foot of a United PDX player.
And there's Bianco again, just finding the pockets between the lines and tying things together.
Ball is loose, picked up by Tori Peters. Peters for Beavers, Beavers for Sanchez, and they'll look to bring it out for Kalehua Lehe. One option in Lions, and just a bit too much behind that one. Heavy collision, and that'll be a rare foul called against United PDX. Molly Bachman taking out the Kalehua Lehe, who we believe has not played in a season, but honestly looks like she's gotten her soccer legs behind her. Hasn't had a ton of chances to go for it, but a good run there.
Yeah, Bachman definitely went in nice and strong and left a little in on that tackle. So we'll see what comes from the free kick here.
This will be Alyssa Peters, the graduate student out of the University of Idaho, behind this one. Lots of options at the top of the box here as Tacoma Galaxy tries to take advantage of a rare free kick opportunity towards the back of the 6th. One comes off the shoulder of a player and cleared away by Riley Bueller. Just over the head of Sawan, who's able to win it.
Really good touch from Sawan.
2v2 here as Sawan has Weber to her right. Sawan still with it. Look, gets her head up. Now she's got 2 defenders to deal with, a couple of runners coming towards the ball. She's got Bianco. Bianco shoots and scores! What a beautiful run from Veronica Bianco, and it's 2-0 in the 39th minute.
Yeah, a good 80-yard box-to-box run from your midfielder there, and a quality finish. Swan slows it down just a little bit. The 2v2 looked promising, but held it up a little bit, let Bianco catch up to the play, and a very, very nice classic finish.
PDX.
The second assist of the day from Nedya Sawan, and Veronica Bianco, the Colorado College player, has a goal. And what a goal it was. It just felt like you almost wondered if United PDX had waited too long, but Sawan knew what she was doing the whole way, and because Tacoma Galaxy maybe gave a little bit too much space, a little too much respect, it led to Bianco having a little bit too much space on a beautiful finish.
Yeah, she put the laces right through that one. And it's tough. The Tacoma team got back, hustled back, got numbers behind the ball, and then, as you said, just sat a little too deep, and no one stepped up to put any pressure on Bianco, who made a really nice run. And here we're through to Lions again.
Beavers for Lions has Sanchez ahead. Sanchez, though, met by the defender there. That is McDougall, who... McDougall comes from one of the stronger D3 programs here in the Pacific Northwest, Pacific Lutheran, the winner of the Northwest Conference last season, a team that went on to go to the NCAA tournament. And realistically, that's another one of those D3 programs where might not have the 1 or the 2 in front of it, but they play a high level of soccer up in Tacoma.
Yeah, up in Tacoma, PLU is known nationwide for playing a good brand of soccer, both on the men's and women's side of the ball.
Yeah, the two best teams in the Pacific, in the Northwest Conference League are realistically Puget Sound, who's also in Tacoma, and Pacific Lutheran. Those games are known for high levels of competition, a little bit of chippiness as well. Two really strong programs.
Yeah, speaking of chippiness, just a little foul there from Bianco. Threw a little hip as the Tacoma player went up to try to win the header.
Into the final 5 here of the first half, 2-0 in favor of United PDX. Goals in the 9th and 39th minute. 2 assists for Nedya Sawan. Goals from Maya Hamak and Veronica Bianco. So we'll get a goal kick here, and kind of feel like that's just going to take a little bit of the pressure off of United PDX. It's going to be a happier halftime talk as long as they keep this 2-0 lead.
Yeah, they've definitely been pressuring Tacoma, and you felt like that second goal was coming, and it was like a very classy goal when it came, but it will relieve the pressure a little bit and should get them into the second half. And we'll see again. Sanchez and Lyons up top are good players who with speed and the ability to counterattack.
Yeah, I mean, the question is, you look at United PDX, they've got a full bench over on the far side to your left. On the opposite side, there's not a lot of options for Tacoma's head coach Scott Ford and Rachel Ross's assistant. Only have 3 players available, and I believe one of those 3 players is a backup keeper.
I was just noticing the orange socks on the one sitting over there. So we have 2 field players for Tacoma to fall back on if they need some reinforcements and a goalkeeper.
Yeah, it feels like that's going to be difficult, but that's a second half problem. Here in the first half, can you get a goal back? Can you at least keep this at 2-0 maximum? As they look for Lions, who, if you're looking for a bright spot, or one of the bright spots here in the first half, I would say Lions and Sanchez going forward.
Yeah, and we can't understate the Beavers in the middle up there holding the ball up for them and tying them together. She's done a very nice job as well for Tacoma.
Lamock sliding it ahead for Weber. Weber looking to cut the double team. Couldn't quite hold on to it. And here's Beavers coming all the way back towards their own 18. This one is floated forward for Lions. 3 players around. And this time we get a handball call. I wasn't quite sure if it was going to be whistled. Just about 2 minutes to go in half number 1. It is United PDX, the home team, leading 2-0, looking for their 3rd win in 3 tries this year against Tacoma Galaxy. Wins thus far of 2-0 and 6-1. Slid on the turf. It was Kruger. Here's Bianco, who scored most recently for Bueller. Bueller towards the back of the 6, and it was looking for Sawan, who's been the facilitator thus far, but does have a goal this year against Tacoma. And there is Sanchez with so much pace, trying to find the other very speedy player, Lions. But again, this back 3 for United PDX has just been so calm and done a great job of minimizing the damage. Here's Sanchez, and it was broken up just enough by Bachman.
Yeah, and well done by Penny Nolan as well to cover for Bachman there. But Sanchez continues to be dangerous. I liked United PDX's triangles they just create. Oh, that one's through.
Sawan is onside, has Weber running towards the near post. She'll take it herself, and Sawan is on the score sheet. She's got a goal and 2 assists, and it's 3-0. I don't know who had that beautiful through ball. It might have been Bueller, but
I think it was Bueller as well. I was just mentioning the triangles and the interplay up at the front, and Bueller poked it through, and it looked like there may have been a tiny bit of miscommunication between the Tacoma defenders. Both made a start towards the ball, then stopped and rolled right through to Sawan, who touch or two and a really quality finish.
I think a bit of it was just hoping that flag was coming up
United
on the near side. So
3-0.
3-0. 2 goals scored in just about 5 minutes to push the lead from 1-0 to 3. And now United PDX really has a comfortable advantage with 30 seconds to go in this first half. It'll fall to Sanchez, who's got just under 25 seconds to work with. Sanchez working 1v1. Good defense there. Force her away, and they'll bring it back for Peyton Martinson, who hasn't seen much of the ball.
Yeah, Martinson is listed as a center midfield, but had put in a whole huge defensive shift in this first half, trying to stay with Weber, Bueller, and
Swan took a little bit of that ball bouncing around. Here's Kruger, who gets taken out. That looks like a clear foul, and will get it. Are they saying play on?
He said play on that one. Said ball was won first and then the player. So interesting after the foul the referee called on Bachman to let that one play. So
yeah, I don't know how that would look on VAR. I'd love to see a replay of that particular call. So we are past the allotted 45 minutes into stoppage time here in half number 1. They'll slide it out wide for Zamora. Fabiola crossing it, and it's a good job to knock it away and keep it alive there. Looks like a mishit from Victoria Reardon, but one of her teammates right along the goal line will avoid giving up what would have just been the second corner of the half for United PDX. Headed down by Bella Hanna.
I think at this point Tacoma's ready for that halftime whistle to blow, regroup, take a break or two, take a drink or two.
Get it. So Zach, 3-0, the majority of the damage done here in the final 7 to 8 minutes. It has to start right with Nedia Sawan. 2 assists, gets the goal on the third one. She has just been a lot and maybe too much to handle for a Tacoma Galaxy team that's really emphasizing and focusing on their defensive structure, but just haven't been able to slow down Sawan, who struck early with an assist in the 9th minute and then an assist in the 38th. And a goal in the 44th.
Yeah, very good half by Swan. Held up the ball well, and I think what we saw there at the end is just all the pressure that Tacoma took in that first half and just could not keep United PDX out for any longer. And very happy that the halftime whistle is blown and they're getting a chance to regroup, grab some water, have a word with their coach, maybe get some subs on, and prepare for that second half.
Quick look at the goals here in the first half. It was 1-0 at about 8:05. It was Mai Hamak from Nedia Sawan, then 2-0 at 38:30. A great pass to Veronica Bianco, who made a very long run towards the top of the 18 and scored off a Sawan assist. And then at 43:40, it was Sawan, we believe, from Riley Bueller. Right now, we're going to send it across to our United PDX studio show with Dave Hall hosting. So they'll take a look and break this first half down. It has been all United PDX leading it 3-0 over Tacoma Galaxy. Yeah, they're not in our headsets.
And we're going to talk a little bit about the halftime show. I'm Dave Hall, along with Ben Efren, Jeremy Goldstone, and Jimmy Clark. And we'll start with you, Jeremy. I saw you were keeping stats, so I know you have a lot of stuff there. Kind of fill us in on some of the important things that happened in the first half.
Sure, Dave. It was an exciting half here.
at Lincoln Field. United off to a great start. They were able to get 6 shots on goal. There's 2 for Tacoma. They had about 80% of possession. Definitely were controlling, connecting lots of their passes, real calm and composed on the ball. Just 1 corner for each side. But some good physical play, a few fouls, a couple handballs. And basically our leaders today were Nadia Swan with 2 assists and a goal. We also had a goal by Mia Hammock and Veronica Bianco also.
Why don't you recap for us the goal scoring, the scores, the assist, and the time?
Sure. Our first goal was scored in the 8th minute by Mia Hammock, and then later in the half, near the end, Veronica Bianco scored in the 39th minute, and our third goal of the half came from Nadia Swan, our assist leader, so she's participating a lot.
When you're doing it, 2 goals in the last 6 minutes of the half, did it seem to you that United PDX was getting stronger at the end, or maybe more organized?
It did. It seemed like they were kind of growing in their confidence, realizing that they could take advantage of their aggressive play. The high press was really paying off, creating lots of chances for them, and I think ultimately the dominance of possession and confidence led to the goals.
The dominance of possession can show up in that shots, one-sided on the shots because one-sided on the time of possession. How about goaltending for United?
The goalkeepers both had a lot of action, more so for the Tacoma side. She had 2 saves, Presnell had just 2 saves, whereas Chamberlain had 6 saves. So very active, lots of shots on goal tonight. But I think it just speaks to the pressure that United was applying.
Players who might have stood out in your mind in the first half?
Definitely Sawan was real decisive on the ball, very technical. And then playing a lot through Veronica Bianco, and ultimately to Mia Hammock as well was involved.
Now we mentioned this is kind of a tune-up game for the big game coming up next week. How do you think United PDX looked? I mean, was it a slow start? Was that the reason why we had to get to the 30-minute mark to get the second goal at the 39-minute mark?
Yeah, I think it's very common for both teams to have to get some initial touches, shake off the jitters. But I think definitely growing into the game will serve them well when they play the division leaders next week.
All right, let's get technical, Jimmy. Let's talk a little bit about what was going on there offensively, defensively, what kind of tactics we saw in the first half, and maybe kind of what we can expect to see different in the second half.
Yeah, well, I think that PDX United was awesome, right? So they played. What I loved about their creativity was how in terms of their possession, right? They played it through the middle. They got it out wide as much as they could. They started to kill them around the outside. I mean, Swanland was just like hot knife and butter, right? She just killed them wherever opportunity she can. Played some really good balls coming back for the midfield players. Unfortunately, I think some of the midfield players were just a little slow to get there, so it was, which was unfortunate. But from a technical standpoint, I think United PDX were just awesome. I mean, they kept the ball, good possession. They weren't afraid to even take their time, be patient, playing it back to the defenders, getting it out to the wings, and then pushing it forward. Was really nice to see. Tacoma on their side of things, I thought that they were struggled a little bit, but they made the game a little boring in my opinion because they just tucked it in, they just squeezed in a little bit, and so which gave United more opportunity to have possession, right? Because simply if the defenders are all pushing in, they really don't, they can just play the ball around the outside. And so, they were able to break them down pretty easily. And so I thought that, it was great. They did a really good job breaking them down. And, the floodgates are open. And I think what I'm going to see in the second half, I think you're just going to see the floodgates wide open. So what Tacoma's going to do, though, is they're going to push. They're going to say, well, we've got to win, or we've got to try and get a goal. So you might see them push a little bit more, which means that the game will open up a little bit more. But I think that will give United PDX even more opportunity to create stuff, right? And make it a more exciting game for them.
One thing that kind of stood out to me, Jeremy mentioned the time of possession. The Tacoma didn't have the ball a lot down in the end to score. And when they did get any kind of action going, they got forward a little bit. I know you guys were saying somebody's forward, maybe they'll get a chance. And quickly, United PDX was back on defense to break up whatever's going.
Yeah, the challenge you have when you Tacoma, what they did was when they're tucking in and they start trying to keep them from scoring. What happens is when you do win, you're in a breaking mode, right? So you saw them a few times where they'll get it and they'll break. Well, the challenge is everybody's behind and you've got one or two forwards up. So what you found them doing is like, I've either got to hit it over the top or I've got to be patient. And what you found was, because maybe experience, they just ended up trying to hit it over the top. And what ended up happening was PDX was able just to come over and pick it up and then start the game again, right? So that's going to be a challenge for Tacoma. So I think the coach is going to say, look, either we're going to stay tucked in for the rest of this game and let them keep breaking us down, and I think that's where you're going to start seeing a 6, 7, 8, 8-0 win, kind of thing. Or they're going to start pushing in a little bit more. So that's the difference, is there was just too much of a gap between midfield when they broke to the forwards.
When you're down 3-0 at halftime, you basically got two options. One is offensively, let's just go for it.
Yeah.
Let's try to get down and score as many goals as we can. Or you sit back and say, I don't want them to have any more. Let's not let this be 8-0.
And that's dangerous to do, right? So Tacoma, if they chose to do that, I think what they'll find is they'll end up with a 7-8-0 loss, unfortunately, because they've got to start pushing up and they've got to start taking the game to United. But I'm just not seeing that they have the players to do that right now. So we'll see what happens and see how this game goes.
Ben, you were focused in on the game and analyzing it with Jeremy. What did you see in the first half?
Well, like everybody, I saw Nydia Swan really take over. She was lovely on the ball, creating chances for her teammates, scoring a goal herself. And then, like we said, with Tacoma, parking the bus, and they just lacked the crispness on the break and the counterattack. It just fell apart. They just, and credit to United PDX for just having the discipline to dispossess them and not give them the space to be clinical on the counter, which were really their only chances. There just wasn't enough composure and passes strung together for Tacoma just to release the pressure, to gain, some traction in this game, which is starting to get away from them.
There was a stretch there from the goal at the 8-minute mark to the 39-minute mark where nobody scored. And then all of a sudden the game changed, it looked like to me.
Right.
United got much more physical, got much forward. There were some great passes in front of the net. Do you think that's what we're going to see more of in the second half?
I think so. I think you've got a lot of hungry players and probably get a few subs off the bench. And they're just running that high line of confrontation, which is lending itself to a lot of turnovers and chances. And like I said, we've heard here the scoreline may blow up a little bit.
Got a big game coming up against Ole. Do you kind of rest some players now, or do you go all out in this rest of this game?
Well, let's see. We're Friday. What are we? 6 days away from Thursday. So I don't. Yeah, it depends. I mean, they're so young and fit. Mm-hmm. But it's certainly, if somebody's nursing a little knock, then they're going to stay on the bench. And you're also trying to grow experience for the bench players that aren't getting as many minutes. Here's a lovely opportunity to maybe get in there, score a goal against a wounded opponent, and grow your own confidence. And work on your depth as a team.
Jimmy, you played at University of Portland. You were probably never down 3-0 in a game. And Jeremy, you played at University of Oregon. What happens down in the locker room with the team that's down 3-0?
Well, I think it's a strategic conversation that she's going to be having with them, and I think they're going to make a decision whether, hey, do we continue to hold back or do we go for it, right, and start putting the pressure back on them. If I was the coach, I would be saying, look, it's time for us to step up, make this game a little bit more exciting. I think we've got to push up as a unit. We've got to start looking to keep possession, keep the ball as much as we can, and play a little bit more crispness. I like that, because I think what happens is that will build confidence with them. And then what that will do is that will give them an opportunity to maybe get a goal or sneak one in, because they've had a couple of really good opportunities. They just not hit it. They just don't have that that defined touch at that very end to put it in the back of the net.
That's a good point. they call those players finishers, and I didn't see one in the first half. Somebody that got forward and put the ball in the net.
No, they're not aggressive, and I think that you saw that with United. They're even on them. They got open. They got some amazing passes, got good touches, got around the back, gotten some nice. But even some of their shots were like little passes back to the goalkeeper. I mean, that's where you've got. I'm a striker, so for me, it's killer instinct, right? You've got to go for it when the opportunity is there, because that could be your only chance, right? So you've got to take it. So both teams, I think, even though United's crushing it, I think both of them need to have a little bit more killer instinct in the goal area, in the box.
And Jeremy, the Tacoma goalkeeper had to feel like she was under attack. I mean, the shots were all right there in the front. She made some good saves, had 6 saves there in the first half, but the shots were right in front of her. There wasn't anything from a long way out.
Yeah, I agree. I think they need to give her a little break by being more courageous and not be so respectful of the United team. I think they need to have more confidence and really push for the goals. I think it's there's nothing to lose. Take the risks and see what you can find. I think they need to dig deep and push that team. And I think for the United side, I think it's important that they keep their focus. Sometimes when you get a big lead, the tendency is to lose your focus, and I think United, it'd be a good opportunity to bring in some fresh legs, give them some valuable minutes going into the end of the season, because they're going to be at the top of the bracket at the end of the season, and you want to be able to call that bench players whenever you need them.
So tactically, what would you do different for Tacoma?
Tacoma, well, they've been in a 4-4-2. They've been sort of in a defensive block, low block, necessarily to survive. But I would maybe switch to a 3-back, or if you have maybe be more aggressive and push some of those midfielders forward, try and give them more opportunities to finish and shoot.
All right, we got about a minute and a half left. Ben, I'll go to you to wind this up. What do you think about, tactically speaking, for Tacoma?
I think it's a mindset. Tacoma needs to, Seth was mentioning that they were paying too much respect to United PDX, giving them too much time on the ball, on their back heels, backing up, and they need to, assert the confidence and the abilities that got them to such a high level of football like we're watching tonight.
Anything, any other thoughts about the second half?
Just excited to see more fireworks and see some of the talented subs come off the bench and watch United, really keep tuning this up for Ole Town.
We've seen a lot of subs here in the first half for United. I'm trying to remember the name of the girl who has the 4 goals, including the hat trick.
Leonie Weber.
Weber. I saw her near the end of the first half, and I don't remember seeing her earlier. I'm not sure if she was there or not. But once she got in the game, I recognized her right off because she was moving forward.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if she catches fire in the second half and Swan.
Yeah, I'm sure they're all licking their chops to get in there and get on the score sheet.
All right, I want to remind you we are Oregon Sports Beat. This is we had a pregame show. This is our halftime show. We'll have a postgame show to join you here at the conclusion of the game. So stick with us. Dave Hall, Ben Efren, Jeremy Goldstone, and Jimmy Clark. Join us back here, and we'll finish this game up. So we're looking forward to the second half. We'll send it over to our broadcast crew.
Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed our United PDX studio show. Seth Rensky joined by Zach Chown. And before we provide a little bit more of our analysis and try to get you some of the halftime subs, we have to give a shout out to our great sponsors who help put on this USLW and these broadcasts. It all starts with Core Water, Level Beer, and finally Elite Real Estate. So we want to give a big shout out to those three sponsors who make all of this possible. I mean, we're at a great facility here at Mike Walsh Stadium, brand new at Lincoln High School. Two great teams, lots of high-level talent. It's a real pleasure to bring you this game as United PDX leads at 3-0 at halftime, looking to go to 5-0-1. Zach, what are you expecting to see here in the second half? You've had the opportunity to see this team a few more times than some of the other people around. What changes, if any, are you potentially expecting?
I think we'll probably come out very similar to how we finished that first half with a lot of attacking football, pinging the ball around, trying to get it out wide with the players, and then getting it into Nedja Swan. She was obviously the difference maker, the 2 assists and a goal in the first half. Just such a quality player. When you have someone who can hold the ball up, allow the midfielders to make those deep runs like Bianco did on the second goal, allow the players to attach on to the attack and get between the lines, that's a huge bonus and a huge confidence builder for the team. It will be important for United PDX to stay focused coming out and not let Tacoma Galaxy get some momentum going. That'll be interesting to see if Tacoma tries to attack a little bit more, try to get into this game a little bit more. They've been trying to play that counterattack, but looked promising until the final third, and then they haven't really tested Presnell much in the first half, a shot or two here and there.
We do anticipate both teams to change their goalies. United PDX has quite a few players available off the bench. We'll see what changes they make. Swan, with her first half goal, is now tied for the team lead with Leonie Weber with 4 goals this season. It does look like we will see some goalie changes. Finley Crabtree, the Portland State transfer, started her career at the University of Wyoming, will replace Abby Presnell. So we go from the University of Portland to Portland State University. On the opposite side, we're expecting Shelby Stardahl to be in, and it will be Stardahl, the University of Montana player, who replaces Maylee Chamberlain, the University of Washington goalie. So both teams changed goalies. Swan is still out there, as is Weber and Kruger up top. We'll see any changes that were made at halftime. Obviously, you've got 45 more minutes to potentially make those changes and adjustments, but it looks like, for the most part, that this coaching staff for United PDX, who today is being led by Kibwe Cuffey, is going to keep the same group out there for the most part.
Yeah, it looks like both teams came out the same way they started the game. As we mentioned several times, Tacoma doesn't have a deep bench today. They brought in the goalkeeper, and they just have 2 others on the bench at the moment.
This is Weber looking to go all the way. Great sliding tackle, and there's a left-footed shot immediately testing Stardahl. But a good look from Riley Bueller, the former Lincoln High School player who never got a chance to play on this particular field. But I'm sure she's enjoying getting to come home and not only play on this field, but having some success. She had the assist on that third goal of the half to make it 3-0, just as they did the second meeting. We saw United PDX score 2 goals in quick succession. Game number 2 of the 3 meetings between the two teams. It was 4 goals in 25 minutes in the first half, and then 2 goals in 4 minutes in the second half as part of that 6-1 victory over Tacoma Galaxy. And we keep talking about United PDX getting ready for their game against FC Olympia. Well, Tacoma Galaxy currently sitting in 4th place out of 5 teams. They still have 2 important games left outside of their game against Olympia. They've got games against Lane, the 3rd place team, and FC Capital Athletica. They've got a chance to earn that second win, maybe even a 3rd win, if they can really play some good soccer in these 2 games against the top 2 teams. It's a little bit unfair the way the scheduling came out, where they'll end up playing 5 games against the top 2 teams here in the Northwest Division.
Yeah, that's a good point, Seth. It may make Tacoma look a little bit less competitive than they truly are, and they are going to want to get some points out of their next few games and end on a high note. And they have the quality. You know, Sanchez and Lyons in the first half were dangerous players. They created space. They're industrious and busy around the box. They just couldn't quite get that final product.
Here's Sawan all the way across, but no one was sitting there at the back post. And remember, this team's only scored 6 goals this season. All of their goal scorers, they have only had 4 players who have scored a goal, 2 players with 2, and 2 others with 1, are not available today. So this is not, I'm not going to say these aren't their top offensive players, but they do have some other players with goal scoring capabilities unavailable for tonight's contest.
Yeah, some players who have actually done it at this level, and so that's always a confidence builder. Really nice ball by Sawan there. I would have liked to see her cut it back a little bit closer to the 6. She went for the hard ball at the far post, and Weber dipped in towards the far post and then ended up at the top of the 6 all alone with acres of space. And I bet Weber's really hoping that ball came across and landed on her foot there.
Alyssa Peters can't keep that one, and it'll go out for a throw. Fabiola Zamora, who's on the far side in the first half, is now the near side wing back as Weber tries to bring it back for Sawan. Nadia with 2 assists and a goal to this point, as she is going to get called for the foul working on the smaller Victoria Reardon.
Yeah, Tacoma wanted a handball on that first touch, but a little bit of a pull as she was trying to get around her and get back into space.
And it'll be cleared out for a Tacoma throw.
And interesting to see that the United PDX coaching staff has 2 players up after the halftime warm-up, so I would expect a couple more subs besides Crabtree coming in relatively soon, but we'll see what they decide to do.
Finley Crabtree, the lone sub thus far, and this is pretty typical. She's appearing for the second time this season against Tacoma Galaxy. Abby Presnell has played in every game, has started every game, I believe. But Presnell leaves with a comfortable 3-0 lead, hoping to at least get half a shutout in this contest, as she played the full 90 in game number 1 of the year against Tacoma Galaxy, the team's second of the season. Again, this is a United PDX team that has allowed 1 or fewer goals in every game this year. So if you're thinking comeback for Tacoma, it's going to be a big road, as there's Beavers, who, an ambitious move, but floats it just a little high. I don't hate it.
You know, Beavers got her head up quickly, saw that Crabtree had kind of snuck out because McDougall had comfortable possession and got inside of Lions and just had a little bit of a loose pass. So yeah, I don't hate it either. Beavers had a little look and had to go from about 40 out.
Beavers at the University of Wyoming, one of several, I think are they cowgirls? I think it's cowboys and cowgirls. She played in 7 games as a freshman, did not play as a sophomore, but looks good here this summer. One of the big things we haven't talked about is this is a chance to maybe earn some more playing time, get yourself not only into game shape, but really sharp heading into the next collegiate season for some of these players.
Yeah, and I don't know I'm going to stay safe and go with the Cowpokes. I don't know the University of Wyoming roster situation enough to know if there were just better players in front of her or if there was an injury, but she has done a good job of holding up the ball tonight for the Tacoma team.
Yeah, she certainly looks like a serviceable forward. Here is Weber. Weber looking for some options, and got to give Weber a little bit of an extra shout-out. Certainly had to be very happy coming into this game after home country. Germany earned a 5-1 win to kick off the Euros, which is being hosted by Germany. Big win for a German team that has not had as much success on the men's team as they were used to having before. After winning the World Cup in 2014, it's been a little bit of a drought, but 5 different goal scorers today.
You know, the Tartan Army was definitely they were advertiser. The fans came out, but the team did not put on the performance that the fans deserved today for the Scottish side, unfortunately.
Leone will float this one back. 2 players there. The header goes just wide of the net. Good look for Maya Hemick. We want to get that one right here in the second half for a player who currently is in line for the game-winning goal. Sawan on the turf. Leaving it for Kruger. Swan still with it, has two options to her right. Instead, she takes a high shot off the underside of the bar. It will carry him out, not out of danger yet, and the shot is lifted just high by Hammock, who was looking for the brace.
Yeah, nice defensive pressure by Swan to keep the field nice and short, take it off the defensive player, and then a good left-footed shot just off the crossbar.
Yeah, I don't know how many University of Alabama coaches or fans are watching this, but this is certainly performance that's going to make you a little bit excited to see how the Portland Pilot grad will do in her time with the Tide. Normally you talk about transitioning from a mid-major to a Power 5 school, and you think it's going to be a huge adjustment. Probably not as much when you're talking about a program as strong as the Portland Pilots.
Yeah, I think she'll be very, very ready to step in for the Tide come next fall.
Swan is having herself a great day today. 2 assists on the first 2 goals and scored the third one. Nearly had her brace. Here's Sierra Sanchez. A little bit of an oddity in that she's already graduated college, but she's looked like one of the more threatening players. Ball slid out for Swan, trying to go right back for Bueller. Heavy touch. And it'll be picked up by Stordahl, the University of Montana player.
Nice little give and go up the top of the box there. And, Bueller was hoping to have a little bit more of a cushion touch to get a soft touch and a quick shot off. But still, I like that interplay from Swan and Bueller there.
I like the unselfishness from Swan. It feels like, especially against a younger defense, a defense that has ceded a little bit of not only possession, but kind of giving her extra space. Swan clearly can have a hit from distance, but she's consistently looked to get her teammates involved rather than looking for maybe a hat trick or even a few more, as we will see our first field player substitution, and it looks like Kalehua Lehe has come off. Believe that was the player.
And then I think it's Lilia Fiordia.
I believe it is Fiorda, the Woodinville, Washington native. Isabella Hector was the other substitute. Although I don't see
I think she's warming up behind the bench, but she does kind of, with the black jersey, blend into the reader boards behind the bench there.
Thank you. Yeah, I was like, did we already see a substitution that we missed? So Fiorda is on. We don't have much information on Fiorda, just like Reardon was a late addition to our notes. But she is the first sub, and we expect her to play in the outside.
What a classy turn by Kruger there.
Kruger will eventually win the corner kick, as this will be the third of the game for United PDX.
I think that was probably Gherkin on the recovery there, but great first turn by Kruger. Oh, and we've got some substitutes from United PDX coming in.
So it looks like we're going to take off Fabiola Zamora.
And Maya Hammock.
So the wingbacks are changing, and let's see who's on in their place. United PDX almost has a second team on the bench today. These will be subs number 2 and 3, and it looks like number 36 and 26 will be on. But first, the corner, good one from Weber, bouncing around. It's Bueller, able to settle it for the sub just into the game, and that shot is deflected out and cleared the other way. So if we have this correct, this should be Devin Simmons, number 26, the senior who's at UC Davis.
I have Devin as number 36 there.
Yes, 36 is Simmons, and 26, I don't have a 26.
I have a Collier from University of, I think it's Molly Collier from University of Portland and Blanchett Catholic High School outside of Salem, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, we'll go with that because it's more information than I have.
And if I am mistaken, my apologies.
Yes, let's
Tacoma
see.
Substitution, Halia Kalehuawehe for Lilia Fiorda. And United PDX substitution, Maya Hammock for Emily Collier and Fabiola Zamora for Devin Simmons.
And it is Emily Collier, who played at the University of Portland for 5 seasons, 2018 to 2022. Scored a goal and 4 assists in 62 career appearances, 20 starts. She's listed as a forward/mid/D on the University of Portland's roster, so a player who can do a lot of things. On the field, we've got a free kick, and I think Swan's just going to take this shot, and Stordahl able to pick it up on a bounce. It's one of the few times that maybe Swan didn't have the right idea, but that's certainly an area she can score from. Just not able to get much behind it.
I apologize. Emily Collier. I said Molly Collier. I had the wrong first name there.
You had 95% of the information.
I was at least had a few of the right vowels and consonants there.
And Devin Simmons, as we mentioned, is the UC Davis player who's played in 51 games, started 4 games, 4 goals, including 3 last year as a junior. So we'll do our best to bring you information about all these players coming on. This is Collier.
That's Collier on the ball right there. Oh,
With a good ball to the back post, maybe just a little bit too much, but she was looking for the other substitute, the other wing back in Simmons.
and Simmons, I think, is out of South Eugene High School, so local-ish Oregon product.
Would make sense. She's a Eugene, Oregon native. Had the game winner against UC Riverside, one of their conference foes this past season. On the goal kick there from Stordahl. And it's kept alive by Simmons. Nice play along the near bench. There's big collision. They're just going to say throw in. Player's still down, and they say play on. And now we won't, because it looks like it's a head injury, and the referee made the right decision. That's what you have to do in this day and age. Can't possibly risk a player being down with a head injury, getting hit by a ball, and we'll see that player treated. Now, the issue is if you are this Tacoma team, you only have one sub left, and if you use it here, you'd be unable to make another substitute for the final 30-plus minutes, but first thing is making sure this player is okay and ready to go.
Yeah, I'm glad the referee pulled that one back a little bit. That player, before she'd even sat up, grabbed the front of her head, and it looks like in that tackle, new player Simmons just kind of went over the top of her body and possibly just bounced her head off the turf for a moment. I don't think there was any intent in it, but turf isn't terribly soft for those of you who've never fallen face first on it. So throw in from United PDX here.
Kruger dishing it out wide. I think that might be Weber.
Yeah.
Weber just is able to make an impact going out wide, looking for the pass there, gets deflected, and there is a really nice job getting to the ball. Not quite sure who that was, but ball just loose and taking a big hit on it.
I think we got to see Kruger again there on the follow-up, and as you said, Weber just kind of finds her pockets and then has a license to take players on and does is quite successful in her dribble attempts there. She looked like she a little scoop to the inside and then felt most confident with the outside of the right foot shot there. Instead of either a left-footed shot or a cross.
Yeah, I mean, Weber has done a lot of things well and really hasn't looked for her own shot to this point. This one slides through the legs of Kruger, and Stordahl pick it up. Looks like Hector is getting close to being ready. The lone sub left for Tacoma, and United PDX has 2 players warming over on the far side. This is Kruger keeping it along the goal line, lifting it back over the head of Weber, headed out and settled. And this one, good stretch there to keep Lions away from potentially running down that ball.
Yeah, a little desperation defending here from Tacoma. Some big kicks to get it out. We'll see if they can settle the ball down and kind of get the composure a little bit. And here it goes to Beavers, who has done a very nice job of holding the ball up for this Tacoma team.
Beavers for Peters, looking for Lions. Sanchez in there as well. And this is Bachman, some nice defending, able to get the turn despite having some real pressure on her. Bianco into the middle for Bueller, and now Kruger trying to go all the way out wide for the substitute Simmons and unable to connect. I like the fact that these two subs.
We have our wonderful vendor on the right side of the bleachers. They're selling wheat sweets, treats, and freeze-dried candy.
Sorry about that. That took me by surprise. But I like the fact that the 2 subs have provided a lot of energy. They've kept up what we saw from Hammock and Zamora, who played integral parts in the attack in that first half.
Yeah, I wasn't going to be surprised if we saw Rayanne Jones, who is also an impact player out wide. We may see her later on in a different role, but I like that Simmons, that run there from Simmons, she even could have gotten a little bit wider and had a little more time to run in on that ball and cut down the angle. It was just a tiny bit behind her there from the turn and pass from Kruger.
Yeah, Rayanne Jones, the Chino Hills, California player, who's in her at her third different college, but having had a lot of success last year at D2 Western Oregon with 5 goals and 2 assists. This is Collier working for the corner. She's not going to win it, as this is the veteran Alyssa Peters who will put it out for a throw, but still a dangerous spot for United PDX, who feels like if they had 70 to 80% of the possession and the chances in the first half, they're maybe up that total here in the second half. We really have seen very few forays going forward for Tacoma to begin this second half.
Yeah, they've gotten the ball to about half field, and then it just kind of runs out of steam. And what we just saw again there, a little bit of a loose pass, and United PDX is there to clean it up and turn that straight back into the attack.
This is Bianco, who has scored one of the best goals in this game. Her goal and Sawan's goal, the third one, were really impressive, as Bianco with that high boot to keep it alive, and then steps into the midfielder Peyton Martinson, another one of those Western Oregon Wolves in today's contest. Must be fun for some of these players on opposite sides to see their college teammates, just in some case high school teammates.
Yeah, and sometimes club teammates. Some of these players go back quite a few years, but it's always fun running into an old teammate, either to play against them or in this case, some of the University of Hawaii players or New Mexico State players on United PX team getting to play together in a very different situation than you get in the college scene.
Here's Sawan off for Collier. Collier left-footed ball towards the top of the 6. It's loose. Eventually cleared out as far as Martinson. Martinson trying to play it forward again for Amira Lyons, who she's going to be a rising senior in high school.
And Lyons does a very, very nice job when that ball's played to her feet. She does not want it quite as much with the defenders on her back and trying to bring down a bouncy ball. No forward loves that.
Sawan, a bullet, but it's skied high and a little bit wide. Can't give her that much space. She's a little frustrated with herself. But also, with a player like Lyons, who's maybe 17, like 16, 17 years old, part of that is just going to be growing into your body, putting on a little bit of muscle as you go into college and you have a Division I strength coach working with you. It's going to be interesting to see her progression as she goes forward, because she's playing with some players, even on her own team, that might be 6, 7 years older than her.
Yeah, absolutely. And she has been, first half, she was one of the better players. We'll hold that thought as Weber comes flying forward into the box.
Weber, unselfish, looking for Collier, just stretches it a bit too much, but it'll be kept alive by Collier. Outside back, looking at her options, and she'll wisely just play this backwards. No need to rush it for Penny Noland. Into the feet of Bianco and back for Collier. We'll see if she can get a ball in. Looking for the back post, has an option, headed right into the defender. That was Sawan. Ball's loose, and we've got a foul there on United PDX as they took the ball right out of the hands of Stordahl.
Yeah, it was Simmons trying to get there and made sure that Stordahl had a good hand on it. Referee blew the whistle as he felt there was a little bit that the goalkeeper had it under control.
Caitlin McDougall and Riley Bueller coming off. And we'll have a new member of that back three, and it looks like these are 2 like-for-like substitutions. And we'll get you those numbers shortly. It looks like, when I say looks like, I believe it's going to be Maya Loud, the sophomore out of Portland, who plays at the University of Washington. I didn't get the second player.
Yeah, I haven't picked that one up yet either. We'll get to that one in just a minute. Looks like it's number 14. I believe that is Morgan Keller out of Cal State East Bay and Liberty High School.
That would be Morgan Keller in the Riley Bueller spot. The substitutions come at us fast and furious. And we've got our final substitute coming on for Tacoma Galaxy. It's going to be Isabella Hector. Now the question is, who is she replacing? Looks like she's going to be right in the middle of the field, replacing Peyton Martinson. So the George Fox player, George Fox right in Newburgh, not too far from Portland. Hector out of, never confident saying this this hometown, Puyallup.
Wallop? I'm not going to be able to help you out much with that one either, but we apologize to any Puyallup natives that we can't say it properly. Maybe you can get on the live feed and tell us how to say that properly.
Yeah, my East Coast is showing. It'll go out for a goal kick. 67th minute, still 3-0. All 3 goals came in the first half. Goals in the 9th, 39th, and 44th minutes from Hammock, Bianco, and Sawan, who has a goal and 2 assists. So United PDX in a comfortable spot, but Zach, I don't think they're going to be happy with a 3-0 win. It's great to be comfortable in this spot, but you want to continue to work on that finishing and to get some contributions from maybe some of these substitutes who I'm sure will have an impact, whether it be in the game 6 days from now against FC Olympia or in that second meeting, which comes all the way on Sunday, June 30th, right here at Lincoln High School at 2 p.m.
You definitely want to get the subs on the field, get them integrated quickly, and there's going to be a bedding in period as new players come on the field. I thought Simmons and Collier, as we've mentioned, did a great job of settling right in, and we'll have to see how Loud and Keller do. Keller's played in several of the other games and is kind of a like for Bueller, so we'll see if she can still bring that same quality that Bueller did in that center of the park there, keeping possession, creating some chances, and not letting Tacoma get anything started with their new substitute Hector in the field.
Keller, a sophomore at Cal State East Bay Division II school, played in 7 games, made 2 starts, and scored 1 goal during her freshman season. This is controlled in the midfield. This looks like Weber trying to slip it through for Sawan, better by the defense, who let one through for the 3rd goal, and that is going to go off of Kruger. For the 2 refs looked at each other for a while, but eventually the AR will put up the flag for a goal kick.
Yeah, Kruger and Sawan both felt that went off the Tacoma defender last. Tough to tell from here as the 2 of them came together there.
69th minute here at Lincoln High School, Mike Walsh Stadium on Oregon Sports Beat. United PDX looking for their 5th win in 6 games, still unbeaten on the season. Coming off their first tie, 1-1 tie against Lane. This has been a good bounce back to this point. Team that's played great defense all season long and good offense for the most part. But coming off their first game with less than 2 goals, and they scored 3 in the first half. This one will be handled by Bianco, who, I mean, Zach, it's hard to really argue with either, but do you give slightly better merits to the goal by Bianco or the goal by Sawan? That 2nd and 3rd goal, both were extremely well hit.
I'm going to show my midfield, my defensive midfield bias here. I love the long run from Bianco and that quality composure to finish that ball at full speed, to take nothing away from Swan's goal, but I got to go with my the defensive midfielder on the 80-yard run and the finish. So,
well, and Sawan was still involved in that goal. She got the assist, didn't rush the play, didn't force the play. So
and herself made about a 50 to 60-yard run with that ball. So it was really a well coordinated goal there. And I think what the Coach McClellan and the staff continues to preach, like, do the little things correctly, be tight with your touches, be clean with your touches, make sure on the passes, and that's where it gets a little tough here with the substitutes coming in, new players in, and then just a 3-0 lead. You tend to take your foot off the proverbial gas pedal a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see with the subs if they can get into the game, get into the flow, and then get a few more goals. Because I don't think United PDX is going to be happy with just 3-0 at this point. They're going to want to get a few more out of this game. 2
more subs warming for United PDX. Tacoma Galaxy is out of subs. They only had 3 available as they are the road team. I figure it's probably a little bit harder for some of these clubs when you are going on the road with some of these players maybe working jobs, taking classes.
Yeah, you got to think there's summer school responsibilities, there's family responsibilities, and as you said, there are work responsibilities. This is a pre-professional league, so the players are collegiate and mainly collegiate players and still have their amateur status. So I don't know the ins and outs of everything with the USW League, or USLW League. So it'll be interesting to see how we've got some new subs warming up, as you said.
Finley Crabtree has seen more action the last 2 minutes of just having to play the ball on back passes than she's had the first 25 minutes of the half. Is yet to have to make a save. Is yet to have seen a shot towards her goal. This is Collier cutting inside. Collier still with it, looking for an option. Slides it perfectly for Weber. Left it just behind. That would have been a really good spot for Weber to get a shot off. She just couldn't quite keep the ball with her.
Understandably so. I don't think Weber realized that she had quite as much time as she did, and we went for a turn that she probably does correct. 9 times out of 10, that one just got away from her foot a little bit, but even could have made a little less, even a little less fancy, and had plenty of time. Tacoma just did not pick her up.
Kruger slid one through the middle, but no one could get there. Only 2 options in Sawan, and I believe the other player was Weber that time. Weber scored all 4 of her goals in the first 2 meetings with Tacoma Galaxy. She does not have a goal and assist in this one, but I don't think that she'd complain about her outing thus far. She's done a really nice job in initiating the offense and kind of keeping possession. That's been one thing. Tacoma Galaxy, I'm sure they were willing to cede possession in this game. I don't know if they were willing to cede as much possession as they've had to give up, as this is good, nice little touch there on the backside by what looked like Bella Hanna.
Yeah, that was nice. Weber thought she had a good run going there, and good work by the Tacoma defender. The coach, I think, will be happy with this little bit of possession here, whereas they're drawing Tacoma out a little bit. Tacoma was sitting in that a forced low block, if you will, and keeping possession in our half for a little bit without a whole lot of danger is going to pull Tacoma out a little bit. I like that run by Emily Collier just a minute ago to feed Weber. I'd like to see more of that, see her attack with her pace and her touch.
Here's Sawan able to dribble herself out of trouble, and thought she was just going to leave it for Weber, but she'll stay on the ball and play it back. Little bit of pressure coming from Lions, but it'll be swept aside to the near side for Noland, and now forward for Bianco.
And again, don't underestimate how challenging this is for Tacoma to have to defend for, we're in the 73rd minute now, and I mean, I can't imagine their possession numbers are very high.
This is Collier at the byline trying to cross it, still alive. Collier fighting for it, and eventually the 3rd Tacoma Galaxy player comes over and able to clear out of danger for the moment with the throw-in. Yeah, I would say that they've probably been defending in their own half for 60 minutes.
Yeah, it feels like a lot of it, and again, keeping that possession, pinging the ball around, pulling them out of that defensive shell a little bit, allows the spaces and the gaps to open up behind the Tacoma defense here. So we'll see if United continues to keep the ball and hope that Tacoma comes out and pressures them a little bit.
Zeller leaving in for Bachman and over for Collier. 2 more subs ready to check in for United PDX. So they are going to use that numbers advantage here in the second half, not only to get some players some more time, but hopefully to get some fresh legs out there. This is Zeller, who came on for Bueller, who had a really nice game.
I think we got Keller, but Zeller's a good name as well.
Yeah, that's really ugly handwriting by yours truly. Unable to read my own handwriting. Appreciate that, Zach.
No problem.
This will go out for a goal kick, and this should bring on our new substitutes, which hopefully... Oh, no, they're going to say corner. We will get the substitutes first. It looks like Weber will take it. Sawan is coming off, as is Kruger.
Oh, so we're going up top here.
So
we should see...
Yeah, I was about to say, we're going to see Rayanne Jones, and my guess is Lindsay Antonsen, the junior forward out of Oregon State.
I'm going to agree with those guesses. We'll confirm those once we get numbers, but that's who I'm guessing as well.
Well, if that is it for Sawan, and it is, she leaves after having a terrific game with a goal and 2 assists. This is Collier leaving it off for Weber as they go short. Weber still with it, looking to drive, crosses it back post, just a bit too much behind it, and it's floated out for a goal kick.
And we can confirm that Antonsen is definitely one of the players that come on, and I haven't quite gotten, and I think that is Rayanne Jones, number 32 as well, so we can confirm those.
Well, and that's it for substitutions for United PDX, not because they've run out of substitution periods like you might see in a professional game. That was their full bench. They only had 7 available today off the bench. I say only. I mean, that used to be the max in most leagues. Now you've got professional leagues where you can have 9, 10 on the bench because you do have 5 substitutes. Not a rule you have to worry about in the USLW.
Yeah, and that leaves us, I think, just Bianco, Weber, Noland, and I think it's Bachman still on out of the original starting lineups.
Antonsen out of Oregon State, junior forward, originally out of Wilsonville, Oregon, is bumping into the keeper there was Rayanne Jones. Give me a little more information on Rayanne. She started at Division I Grand Canyon University out in Arizona. Then she went to Rio Hondo College, a community college, before playing at Western Oregon last season, scoring 5 goals in 16 appearances.
Yeah, Tacoma's, I mean, I like the idea of at 75th minute bringing in 2 fresh legs to run at this tired Tacoma defense to finish out the game. Sawan and Kruger played very, very integral parts throughout the game, but it's nice to get on some fresh legs to really put this pressure on the Tacoma defense.
Collier ahead for Weber has 2 options, the 2 forwards just into the game, and Weber is going to be content to usher this one out for another corner kick. Corners have really mounted here late in the second half. Haven't seen United PDX take advantage of one with a goal, but they've created the opportunities, and we'll see if Rayanne Jones or Lindsay Antonsen or one of the other substitutes can take advantage. I thought we heard a whistle there, but they're going to say that's out for another corner kick as the keeper Stordahl dove on top of it.
Yeah, really great sharp run by Antonsen to the near post. Exactly what you're trying to do, get there across the front of the goalkeeper, make it challenging, and dipping near post ball played in by Weber. Weber's on this corner again.
79th minute. United PDX looks to add their first goal since the 44th. Good ball that's knocked away by Stordahl. Getting a foot on that was the wing back. That was Simmons, and it's out for another corner as Loud must have had player get a piece of that on her effort.
Yeah, Simmons with the high boot, but no one around, so no dangerous play whistled on that one. And like you said, Loud got the finish. Looked like it was going on target, and the defender cleared away.
Weber will go to the opposite side. She's taken, I believe, every single corner as they near double digits here. Most of them coming here in the second half. Will be Weber floating one towards the 6, battling Stordahl with the midfielder, and I'm going to get this right, Morgan Keller, who was a little bit of pushing and shoving, and they will blow the whistle.
I don't love that call. Keller's kind of holding her. She has a right to that ball as well at the edge of the 6. She doesn't have to cede her position to let Stordahl come through, but it is called at all levels, all the time, whenever the goalkeeper's touched in and around that goal.
With the exception
6-yard box.
Of when Ben White does it for Arsenal. And as an Arsenal fan, I love it. He's the one player who's figured out a way.
The dark arts, Ben White and the dark arts, and the spray tan, we should say as well.
Hey, if you can find a way to consistently score on free kicks, it makes your offense look really scary no matter how few goals you score from open play. This is Beavers ahead for Sanchez in a battle there with Bachman, who again is one of those starters who's played 80 minutes to this point. And this defense has played really well for United PDX. Now this there's a heavy battle there. The Tacoma player was Ray Gerking, who we've had nothing but positive things to say about, but I think she earned her yellow card on that instance.
Yeah, it looks like Jones just kind of tried to spin her there, and Gerken wasn't excited about letting her run free. So coming together, and Gerken put a little more force into the arm bar than necessary, and Jones went down and earned the card and free kick.
First yellow of the day. So we are now into the final 10 minutes plus stoppage time. This will be Maya Loud to take this free kick. Loud played in 18 games, made 12 starts at the University of Washington during her freshman season, 2 goals and an assist.
Yeah, she's fit right in on the back line here and just been cool and composed on the ball.
Towards the top of the 18, knocked away and right back into the mixer. That was Rayanne Jones with the high boot, and she caught the head of one of the defenders, and that'll be an easy whistle and a very short conversation. Hey, let's keep everybody healthy here for the final 10 plus. Taking that one was Bella Hanna, the Linfield player.
Yeah, Hannah's played well and was brave on the header. She didn't have to reach down far, but she bent down a little bit, knowing that she may take some contact. I don't think she expected the shin guard to the face, but
yeah, I would say for some of these Division III players, getting to play in a league like this is really going to help you when you head back to school, because as a defender, she's not going to maybe face Division I talent every game who make excellent turns and absurd cutbacks, but she's going to be more prepared and the game's going to feel slower. And I think you see the same thing for United PDX players like Bueller and Bianco. They're just going to feel like they have more time when they get back on their campuses.
Yep, absolutely agree with that comment.
And for Sawan and to some degree Weber, I think today there's been an instance or two where they expected to have less time, and that's kind of adjusting to the game around you. Now, FC Olympia, without knowing who's on their roster, I can guarantee that game, every inch is going to be battled for. It's going to be a faster-paced game. There's going to be a little bit less space.
Yeah, I'm excited for those two games. That pitting the top two teams in the league together, and I agree with you. It's a little interesting that the games weren't spread apart a little bit more. How Tacoma's played the top teams. They're done with the top teams after this game.
Well, they've got one. They sadly have one more against FC Olympia.
My apologies.
So this is their 7th game. I believe they play FC Olympia in either their 8th or 9th game. But 5 of their 10 games on the schedule will come against the top 2 teams, which just feels harsh for a team in their first season in this league. But that's how the cookie crumbled, and again, they lost the first meeting between these two teams 2-0, the second 6-1.
Yeah, good run by Collier. Sorry to interrupt you there. It was a really nice turn by Bianco and good run by Collier.
But despite United PDX playing really well, dominating, they have not been able to put up the goal numbers we saw in that second meeting, which I'm sure was extremely exciting if you're a United PDX fan. A little bit disheartening if you're on the Tacoma Galaxy side.
Yeah, I think Tacoma will feel okay if this one ends at 3-0 and no more goals go in the back of the net. They'll be happy with the 0-0 second half if they can hold out for the final 8 minutes, 7 minutes, and stoppage time.
Yeah, on the opposite side for United PDX, again, you're not worried about the final score, but you want that last goal. Antonsen wants a goal. Jones wants a goal. Some of these midfielders, I'm sure that Weber would not mind adding a little cherry on top of a very solid game for her with her 5th goal this season against this side.
Absolutely.
This is Lyons, who still out there. Lyons, Sanchez, these 2 players have worked hard. Lyons double-teamed, just a rising senior in high school, still going. She just met 6 different defenders there and eventually able to keep the ball alive. Peters into the box, knocked down, good clearance by United PDX. The one thing you really want to do if you're United PDX defensively is keep this clean sheet.
Yeah, stay focused on defense. Do the little things right. Keep your marks tight. Keep your communication going. And that was a nice little spell of possession from Tacoma there. And as you said, Lions encountered 6 defensive players in that one play there.
Yeah, Penny Noland and Molly Bachman, the only 2 members of the back 3 who started this game. We've switched goalies for United PDX, but just being a part of that shutout, which would be the team's 2nd in 6 games, feel pretty good for a defense that has allowed just 4 goals through nearly 6 complete games.
Yeah, and I think you're seeing just a little bit of players who maybe haven't played together in the game speed quite as much. Antonsen and Lau just haven't, just misconnected on that last little run-in pass there, and those little passes aren't right where they need to be when you just don't have the familiarity and playing in the pressure situation of an actual game.
This is Sanchez bouncing her way out of trouble. Just give it off for Tori Peters. Tori's making the run here, but she's going to be hard-pressed to beat the speed of Penny Noland. Yeah. And I believe it's Rainbow Warriors for both the men's and women's teams out there on the island, is able to clear it out.
Yeah, well done by Nolan there to cut across and cut the angle off and then just poke the ball out. She was hoping it was going to run off the end line, but there was a little too much green there to let it roll all the way out.
And for Penny Noland, you're really getting the best of all worlds. You get to spend 9 months on the island, and then you get to come to the Pacific Northwest for the best possible 3 months of the year.
No arguments there.
This one is looking for Lions, working along the goal line, eventually taken away, and it'll be kept alive. This is Tori Peters.
And Jones does a good job of getting back and putting pressure on that ball to make it difficult for Tacoma.
Nice little cutback turn there by Allie Beavers, who hasn't seen as much of the ball here in the second half. Bianco ahead for Weber. She's got a run on the outside. Instead, she tries to cut it through. really nice look as she was aiming for Antonsen, but couldn't quite split the double team.
Yeah, I would have loved to have her look over her right shoulder there, check Simmons' run, because Simmons had all sorts of acreage, and Fjord over there on the defensive side for Tacoma was not staying with her.
Into the final 5 minutes of regulation. Shouldn't see too much stoppage time. So this is a long look and a diving effort. Finley Crabtree, her first stop of the game. One might have been going just wide, but she was able to cover that post, and it's out for just the second corner kick of the game for Tacoma Galaxy.
Yeah, I like that from Lions. I honestly haven't seen her hit that ball yet in this game, and it was good. That would have, that's going to cause defenders to be, get up a little bit tighter on you, and then she can use her speed. So I like that turn and hit. I didn't know she had that in her arsenal. Left-footed strike, and I agree, was probably gonna bounce wide, but Crabtree did not want to take that chance.
Lyons, a 2025 high school graduate, will go to Seattle University when she graduates from La Jolla High School.
It'd be fun to see her develop at Seattle University. Fun to see her continue to play in this league in a year or two.
This is Alyssa Peters, a sharp cross that ends up amongst two Tacoma Galaxy players, and on the potential breakout, it's going to be off Jones. I'm not sure that wouldn't have stayed with United PDX if she hadn't touched it. But we're into the final couple minutes of what has been a very comfortable performance for United PDX, opening the scoring in the 9th minute from Maya Hammock, and then goals in the 39th and 44th from Veronica Bianco and Nedia Sawan. Ahead here, Antonsen's probably going to have to cut this back. She does, and a great look for Jones, but she just curls it wide.
Yeah, as we've said once or twice, Jones is going to want that one back. Got herself in a nice pocket of space. Antonsen found it right at her feet and just didn't get the contact she wanted and dragged it wide. Again, Simmons on that right wing. If United PDX can change that point of attack, she's created all sorts of space with her work rate, getting up and down that right wing, and is not being followed by the defender. We just haven't quite gotten the ball to her like we did to Hammock in the first half.
Yeah, I mean, the ball's been going through Emily Collier as there's a heavy challenge on Peters. Collier's been very involved. Mm-hmm. So that was Weber with the foul.
Weber's won a lot of headers in that, coming out of the defensive third from Tacoma, and just got a little bit leaned into the back of that one with Peters, so no complaints with that call there.
On the free kick, it's Bianco winning it. Second ball won by Lions and eventually taken away by Collier. Collier looking for options and is dispossessed there by Lions. Into the 90th minute of action as this United PDX team looks for their 5th win in 6 tries, and Tacoma Galaxy trying to avoid a 5th loss in 7 games. Floated high, and is it kept out by Crabtree? It is. That was close on the lofted ball. I was interested to see what our AR to the near side would say.
I don't think it crossed, but the AR was not there quite quick enough, so he had about the same view, and it didn't look like it crossed, but it sure was closer than I think Crabtree wanted it to be. It did a little lofted shot, and she did a good job. It just started dropping right below the crossbar there, and had to get her hands up and keep it out.
We go the other way with Loud, looking for Simmons, making a long run. Simmons trying to get the cross off. Great spot, heading down by Anson. It's still loose. A second save, and it's put in, but it's offsides. Jones was stopped. Antonsen put it in, but it was offsides. That would have been a phenomenal 4th goal and a pair of really good saves by Shelby Stordahl to deny that 4th goal.
Wow. As we were just talking about, we want to get the ball wide to Simmons, and it happens, just pings across, and Anderson brave, and Stordahl just stood on her head to keep that one out of the goal. That was a fabulous save.
Yeah, Antonsen with a great header, and then Jones followed it up on the second saves. Antonsen was just in front of the final defender when she put it in. So the 4th goal does not count, but those subs, that's a good scoring opportunity. So now we're into stoppage time, 45 seconds in, and see if United PDX takes one final foray forward. This is Sanchez and Loud colliding, and it'll be a foul on Sanchez.
Well done by Loud just to hang on to the ball and draw the foul there, slow things down, and get out of the defensive third without much pressure.
Loud looking up, 12 starts as a true freshman in defense for the University of Washington. She's got a bright future ahead of her. In the midfield, this is Hector, who hasn't had much of the ball. Ahead for Lions, trying to find Sanchez. Might have been offside, and this ball is floated. Just an ambitious ball. So we are probably into the final 30 seconds of this contest as the referee looks at his whistle. It's loose, and Rayanne Jones wins it at midfield. Antonsen, the only player ahead of her. Looking for Antonsen, who was trying to hold off the defender. It's knocked away and cleared the other way with 3 Tacoma Galaxy players in the vicinity. Noland will play it back for her keeper, and not taking any chances is Finley Crabtree. Crabtree's made 2 nice saves here in the second half.
Yeah, it's been a comfortable game for United PDX. Again, I think they're going to feel disappointed to not get a goal in the second half, but they will equally be very proud to keep that shutout. I mean, that's when you're up 3-0 halftime, you definitely want to keep your opponent off the scoreboard.
Before we start our post-game show, let's give a shout-out to our sponsors
Final
who
score,
are so pivotal
United
to putting
PDX
on something like this, not only this broadcast, but this league in general. It all starts when we talk about our sponsors with Core Water. I mean, they're not only our sponsors, they're providing us a little bit of hydration here on the broadcast and down at pitch level. One thing you won't be seeing being drunk by the athletes or the broadcasters is Level beer during the game, but might have one after the fact. Level beer, one of our great sponsors as well. And finally, Elite Real Estate. If you're in the market for some real estate here in Portland, Elite Real Estate is a great option. So we'll come back to the start of our postgame. We've got quite a few different things going on. Zach, let's look at positives. And positives, I would say, is that final 5 minutes of the first half. We thought they needed a goal before halftime to really feel good going into the break. Score in the 39th, score in the 44th, essentially put the game away before the break. Nedya Sawan, phenomenal on both of those goals, finishing with a goal and 2 assists.
Yeah, that was the player I was going to highlight right away with Nedya Swan. I also saw Maya Hammock on the wing was very good. Fabi Zamora pinged ball after ball after ball in during the first half. And overall, you've got to be pleased with the performance. Again, it's tough to nitpick on a 3-0 victory. However, I'm sure they're walking away from that second half feeling like they should have gotten a goal or two, should have gotten a little bit more out of that second half. On the flip side of that, up until the final few minutes, Tacoma really didn't challenge the goal. They had the long shot by Lions, and then I can't even remember who hit the long looper that Lions kept out as well. So defensively, very clean, very crisp, and very tight throughout the game.
You talk about the negative, the big thing is this team is going to have to probably play as well as they did today, plus a little bit more in their game on the road Thursday at FC Olympia. We don't know FC Olympia that well, but it's going to be very interesting to see a team with as much skill as this United PDX team against the team that currently is the only undefeated team in the league, a plus 25 goal differential. That's mind-boggling no matter who you've played. And it'll be so pivotal that if nothing else, United PDX gets a point out of that contest. You've already had one tie versus FC Olympia being undefeated. You don't want to find yourself in a spot where you need help in those final 3 games.
Yeah, and you just wonder ever so slightly if the players started to look ahead a little bit. I mean, that is a big matchup. It's right around the corner, less than a week away, up at FC Olympia's home, and then you get them a couple days later down here at the Mike Walsh Field here at Lincoln High School. So I doubt they were looking ahead. However, it is going to be a tough challenge to knock FC Olympia off their perch, but I look forward to seeing how it goes.
That matchup Thursday, June 20th at 7 p.m. at Sound Stadium in Washington. 10 days later, they'll be back here at Lincoln High School on Sunday, June 30th at 2 p.m. We're going to send it over to our United PDX studio show for a couple minutes of analysis, and then we'll have our interview with the MVP of today's game. United PDX takes down Tacoma Galaxy 3-0.
Welcome back, United PDX. Today, our post-game show. We'll wrap this up. After we're done wrapping this up, we'll go back to our on-field broadcasters. They're going to have a post-game guest, the player of the game. I think we all kind of know who that's going to be. So I think she's on her way up. When she comes up, we'll go back to them, and then we'll come back and wrap this up. But while we got a chance now, a 3-0 win, of course, for United PDX. They now go to 5-0-1. The Oldie Town is 6-0-0, so 18 points, 17 points. Those two teams are set for a Thursday matchup, and that will have a great bearing on how this league winds up and who's going to get the playoff spot. So we'll kind of wrap it up now along with Ben Efren, Jeremy Goldstone, and Jimmy Clark. We'll talk a little bit about the game. Ben, your final thoughts about the game?
Yeah, a little bit of a lull offensively, truthfully, in the second half, but that's fine. They got the job done, and now it's time they can focus on FC Olympia and the big showdown to see who's going to advance out of this conference and onto into the playoff, try to be a W League champion and move on, actually, for a promotion to the paying and higher-level professional league. So plenty to play for, and a lot of exciting soccer in our future here.
Jeremy?
I just think Coach McClellan had a great recipe and great tactics for tonight's game, and I think bringing on Collier.
By the way, Coach Eric McClellan is not with the team tonight.
Oh.
He's with his youth team, and I think they're playing in California. So one of the assistants was running the team tonight, but we'll see Eric later in the season.
Well, maybe he just communicated well what he wanted to have.
There we go.
But I just thought that the subs were effective. Jones and Collier had a big impact in the second half. Despite not finishing, I thought that they were keeping their foot on the gas. A good aggressive play. They were quick to recover after the turnover, and it was a pleasure to watch United. The better side.
Any change in the stats, the nature of the stats from the first half? I mean, there was no scoring in the second half.
No, I still think the possession was heavy for United and just dominant. Connecting their passes. Lots of shots and forcing that keeper to stay active.
All right, Jimmy?
Yeah, I thought it was great to see the Tacoma team come out and try a little bit more. They started to push up. They tried to put a little bit more pressure. You saw them start putting a little bit more pressure on United, which created a little bit more opening for United to start playing a little bit more. Unfortunately, there was not a clear instinct in the goal. We had some great chances, couldn't finish them, and so that was a little disappointing to see. But nonetheless, they did great. They held possession, and the game did open up a little bit more. Got a little bit better in the first 20 minutes. The last 20 minutes got a little slowed down a little bit, and so, but it was a good game. Overall, great to see him.
Anything maybe that United should work on between now and Thursday?
I think just, I like the fact that they were getting around the outside. I think they should work on cutting the ball back and getting the midfield players coming up. I think the distance between the forwards and the midfield got a little bit stretched in that second half, and I'd love to see that get a little bit closer.
All right, we're going to go back to our broadcasters for the post-game review and our special guest.
Now I hear it. Okay, bring him on.
Joined by our MVP, Nedya Sawan, and Kibwe Cuffey, the interim head coach today. Just getting a nice little shutout. Nedya, we'll start with you. A goal and 2 assists. now tied for the team lead with goals with 4 on the season. But I want to break down those assists first and foremost. You drive, attack on that first goal, ends up being cleared at the line, and your teammate puts it in. But really the second goal, that was a long run from you, and you had to wait, and you had to wait, and you had to wait. What was kind of your process there, and what does it mean knowing that your teammates are going to provide that passing option versus you always having to take it yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was like an obvious transition moment, and in that case, in my head, I just need to advance the ball as my job as an attacker. And then I kind of knew it was, I took a look and I saw 3 in front of me, and I said, I mean, I could try, but it'd be a lot easier if I had someone wait. So I kind of just thought to delay it, and I knew that my team would be joining. So I just had to advance and then wait, and Veronica made a great run, and then obviously like an awesome finish. So, yeah.
Let's talk about last game compared to this one. Last game, it took a while. You didn't have all of your offensive options, and you only got the 1 goal. A little bit frustrating, a team that you thought you could beat. How big was it to get those 2 late goals in the first half to maybe put this game away and make sure you got all 3 points?
Yeah, I mean, I think I was just a little bit off last game, a little bit. Every touch was getting away from me, and I was just, confidence was lacking a little bit. So just getting the PK to, tell myself, okay, I could do this, and then, the goals kind of just roll from there. They tell a lot of forwards that, you can go in a drought, but once you score 1, they'll all come. So I kind of think that was what I was getting into.
Yeah, Ned, you following up that nice little PK with the cheeky chip on that second game. Sure doesn't hurt the confidence at all. We talked about you bringing in your other forwards and the other playmakers. You hold the ball up so well, use your body, turn, create your chances. But it seemed like a lot of this game you were just playing provider a lot, and that was good to see. And is that kind of what you were looking for out there today?
I think my goal for summer is to just fine-tune things that I want to take into my fall season, and one of those things is being, someone who provides for the team, not just scores goals, but sets others up for goals and does everything I can for us to get a team win. And so I think going into this game, my mindset was more of how can I set my teammates up, and when you do that, the game kind of opens up more for yourself. So.
Yeah, well done. You can create for yourself, but it was fun to watch you create for your teammates and use your skills in that manner. So.
Thank you.
Let's turn it over to Coach. You get the head coach spot for today. What was the message before this game? Because obviously you didn't get the 3 points last game. You've got Olympia on the other side, which we're talking about. You're trying not to think about. You're not letting them think about it. But what was the message both before the game and maybe at halftime when you were able to get those late goals?
Yeah, the main message for today, a few things, but the main one was to put together 90 minutes of, concentration and putting together a complete performance. We've had moments in games where we're up, we're down. You don't want to, dwell on that too much. But I think the key for today for us, especially heading into some of the games that we have coming up, was to make sure that we understand that even after substitutions, whatnot, there should be no fall off whatsoever. We only go forward. So that was the objective for today.
Speaking of the substitutes, Coach, was there anyone who you put on the field who really stood out to you, who really was an impact player when they came on?
It'll be hard. It'll be hard to single one out. But I think the key was to not have any dip. It can having as many substitutions that are allowed. Sometimes once that happens, the rhythm is thrown off. And today it was pretty much seamless. And so there was no real standout, I think, as far as that goes, but I can say that there was no fall off as well, which is what we wanted to do.
Good answer. And looking ahead, now we get a look ahead. We got FC Olympia on deck. What are we looking forward to this next week of practice and preparation?
Maintaining focus, making sure that the details, it's fine margins in these types of games, and so making sure we take care of the details, just the little angles, the first touch, the weight of pass, making sure that you get back on defense, transition moments as well. So that'll be the focus for this week.
Good.
Well, congratulations to our MVP and our interim head coach getting the victory. We're going to head back to our studio crew as we wrap up here on Oregon Sports Beat.
Thanks, Seth and Zach. We're back here for our conclusion or for United PDX today. We're going to wrap it up tonight, but we're going to give each one of our panelists a chance for some comments, some final comments about the game. We'll start with Ben Efren.
Yeah, great interview there with Nedia and Coach picking up the win, and now they can move on to Olympia. The big show to try to win the division. So I felt like their attention may have been a little distracted, even though of course Coach was trying to keep everybody on track. They got the job done. That's the important part, and it was fun listening. To the refocus here for the big game next week, which I think we're all going to be tuned into.
Right, this is our first time doing this. We're going to do it a couple more times during the season. Did you have fun?
Absolutely. Yeah, great working with this crew, and looking forward to the next time.
All right, Jeremy Goldstone,
Your
thoughts?
Yeah, I think it was a decisive win, collective team effort. I thought that it was nice to see, even though Swan scored a goal, she also did play a strong role distributing and bringing other players into the fold. That's going to help, I think, when you go against good competition. But the coach was pulling the right levers tonight, and overall, like a good team win and good momentum going into the big challenge next week.
All right, thank you for participating tonight.
Thank you.
Jimmy Clark, I want to ask you a question before we think about this. You've played on really good teams before. Right. You've played in the pro leagues. What's it like when you get down to the end and you're at the end of the season and you got two teams that are sitting there right at the top together? What's that like?
Well, I think as a player, you don't go into it and looking at, all right, we're up against two different teams. You just go, it's another game, right? And you got to get prepared for it. So you spend most of your days in your practice going, all right. You might watch a little bit of film, get a little used to who's the player, what kind of style. Are they playing a 3-5-2? Are they playing 4-4-2? What are they playing? And then what you do is you just focus on getting yourself right, getting yourself mentally into the game, and making sure as you work with the coach, what role you're going to play in that game, and you just make sure you play the best you can. So it's not so much as it is who we're playing against. It's about what are we going to prepare as a team, and just be aware of their style. And then go into the game with the attitude you're going to kill them.
We talked at halftime about how the second half was going to go. Did it go that way for you?
Not really. I think that, I did think that you're going to see Tacoma come out a little bit more. So I think we did see that, right? They put a little bit more pressure. They opened up the game a little bit more. But United handled them really well, right? They had a couple of chances, but I think they were weak chances, right? So I think that was great to see that United could shut them down. It did open up the game. If you notice, United had a lot of chances in that second half. They just couldn't put it away. And I don't know whether that's part of like we're 3-0 up and a little lackadaisical in terms of their attacks, but quite frankly had a lot of opportunities. They just didn't put them in there. That could have easily been a 6-0 game.
All right, that means that Oldie Town is 6-0-0. United is 5-0-1. Let me give you a statistic here that I got. United has scored 19 goals this season and given up 4 in 6 games. So I think that's pretty good goaltending, don't you?
I do. I think they're a solid team, and I think they've got some exciting players on their team, which I think makes a difference. And their transitional play from defense to forward, I think, was solid tonight.
All right, we got some people we want to thank before we get out of here. Of course, we want to thank Lincoln High School for their hospitality. Want to thank the USLW, the league that runs all of this. Want to thank both teams tonight. We got some information from both of the teams, United PDX and Tacoma Galaxy. Got that there for a second. Want to thank our crew tonight. Ryan Johnson, our producer, Cy on the camera. Want to thank our 2 engineers tonight, Alpha Myers and Steve Roberts. My broadcast partners tonight, Ben Efren, Jeremy Goldstone, and Jimmy Clark. I'm Dave Hall. You can we are OregonSportsBeat.com. Go to our website. We have all of our games up. You can see when we have our next United PDX games. We do a lot of other sports. We have calendars up each month. You can see where we're going to be and what time. So check that out if you get a chance. I'm Dave Hall from Lincoln High School in USLW action. Our final score tonight, United PDX 3, Tacoma Galaxy nothing. Good night, everybody.
Good night.